Angela Lansbury says she married a gay man and quit Hollywood to keep her kids safe from the Manson family. Angela Lansbury was born in London, England on October 16, 1925. Her full name is Angela Bridge Lansbury. She grew up in a family with deep political and intellectual roots. Moa McIll, her mother, was a famous actress, and Edgar Lansbury, her father, was a well-known politician and lumber trader. Angela found comfort in movies and theater after her father died too soon when she was only 9 years old. This love would go on to shape her future. As World War II broke out in Europe, Lansbury and her family moved to the United States in 1940 to get away from the terrible Blitz. She lived in New York and went to the Fegan School of Drama to study acting. After that, she moved to Los Angeles and started working in movies there. Lansbury was chosen as the Sneaky Nancy in the 1944 movie Gaslight when she was only 17. She was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. This part made her a huge star in Hollywood right away, and it was the start of a long and successful career in movies. In the 1940s and 1950s, Lansbury played a wide range of parts that showed off her amazing range. She often played roles much older than she was, but she gave strong performances in movies like The Picture of Dorian Gray, 1945, for which she was nominated for a second Oscar, and The Manchurian Candidate, 1962, for which she was nominated for a third for her scary role as a manipulative mother. These early performances showed how well she could disappear into characters and give even minor parts more depth and nuance. Angela Lansbury was good at more than just acting in movies. She became famous on Broadway after winning Tony Awards for her roles in musicals like Mame in 1966, Gypsy in 1974, Sweeney Todd in 1979, and Beale I'th Spirit in 2009. People liked and respected her as one of the best musical theater performers of all time because of her voice, stage presence, and wide range of tones. Each show she did on stage showed how dedicated she was to her art, how funny she was, and how she could use song and conversation to express deep emotions. As Jessica Fletcher, the crime-solving mystery writer on the long-running TV show Murder, She Wrote 1984-1996, she may have had the most iconic part in pop culture. Over the course of 12 seasons and 264 episodes, Lansbury's wit, intelligence, and charm wowed people all over the world. The show became a regular on Sunday nights, and her performance as Fletcher, who was smart, independent, and caring, was a breath of fresh air for fans of all ages. Lansbury was nominated for 12 Emmys in a row for the part, which shows how consistent and well-liked she was. She never won the award, though, which many fans and critics still regret. Lansbury did voice work for cartoon movies that made new fans happy, in addition to her work on TV and the stage. She was best known for her voice work as the kind Mrs. Potts in Disney's Beauty and the Beast 1991, singing the title song with a soft, warm, and elegant tone. Her role gave the cartoon classic more heart and soul, and it solidified her reputation with younger viewers. She was also in family-friendly movies like Anastasia 1997 and Nanny McKay 2005, which shows how versatile she is and how popular she is. People knew about Angela Lansbury's services to the arts. During her lifetime, she won many important awards and honors, such as 6 Tony Awards, 5 Golden Globes, an Honorary Academy Award in 2013, and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Screen Actors Guild. Queen Elizabeth Roman, too, made her a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2014 for her work in theater, charity, and giving back to the community. This award showed not only how great she was as an entertainer, but also how well-liked she was as a culture ambassador for both the UK and the US. They ran away together on September 27, 1945. Angela Lansbury was only 19 years old at the time. Her boyfriend was star Richard Cromwell, who was 16 years older than her. They didn't tell anyone about their plan to get married, and they did it in a small civil ceremony away from the fame and attention of Hollywood. Angela was young, in love, positive, and full of ideals. She really believed in their relationship, even though they were very different in age and work moved quickly in show business. The union didn't last long, which was sad. The next year, in 1946, they got a divorce, ending their marriage. But the end of their relationship didn't mean the end of their relationship. Richard was very lucky in that he stayed friendly with Angela until the end of his life in 1960 and died of liver cancer. Even though their marriage ended in a painfully quick and sudden way, they stayed friends. This shows how emotionally mature and able to forgive Lansbury is. Let's look into what really took place. Later, Lansbury told them that Cromwell had suddenly left her without telling her what he was going to do. He broke her heart by leaving her a note that said, "Sorry, I can't go on." There was no talk, no argument, just the note and nothing else. She was shocked and distraught. The suddenness of the breakup made people naturally wonder what happened. Cromwell only said one thing in public about their failed marriage at the time. He told the press there were tea bags all over the house. She'd get up in the middle of the night and start drinking tea. It almost drove me crazy. A lot of people thought the comment was strange and vague. Could a love of tea be a reason to leave a marriage without giving any notice? It's clear why a lot of people, including Angela herself, didn't believe that story. It looked like a way to avoid talking about something more important. In conversations later in life, Lansbury said that she did find out the truth about Cromwell's sexuality in the end. She thought about her feelings and the investigation for a long time before she realized that Richard Cromwell had been gay, and that this, not her crying, was most likely the reason he left the marriage. There was a time when being gay in Hollywood was both socially and professionally risky for him. To protect their public image, many gay stars married straight people, even though it was hard on them and their partners emotionally. During a conversation with Terry Gross on NPR Fresh Air, Angela was honest about this news. She said, "I knew so many gay people in Hollywood that it just hadn't really hit me. I was in love with one, and it was a shock. But it wasn't a shock because I was so in love with Richard Cromwell when I married him that I was just, I'd never had any kind of experience. I had nothing to go on because I had never been sexually active." End quote. She was open and honest. As a shy young woman, she didn't understand the complicated issues of identity, sexuality, or emotional compatibility. It's important to note that Lansbury insisted she never blamed Richard Cromwell for what happened. Their broken marriage may have left her confused and hurt, but she didn't hate him. She later said, "When I found out he was gay, I never blamed him for it in any way. And I realized I had just made the worst mistake possible. I made a mistake out of feeling, but I don't feel bad about it because I learned a lot from the short time we were together." Her words show that she is wise, caring, and able to move on from pain without holding on to anger. Lansbury also talked about how her mother, Moa McIll, was an actress who had been through the ups and downs of Hollywood and often threw fancy parties for people in the business. There were a lot of gay people at these events, and many of them lived secret lives because of the social shame at the time. Angela remembered how much her mother valued their privacy and would not tell anyone about them without their permission. This made a home setting where everyone felt welcome and safe. What Angela said was that her mother was very much a part of the gay scene in old Hollywood. She taught Angela to respect people's privacy and identities. Angela Lansbury became known as a gay icon over time, not just for her parts, but also for being accepting and friendly to gay people at a time when that wasn't common in Hollywood. She also continued to be amazed at how many stars of her time were gay in secret, and how well they were able to hide it because they knew it would hurt their careers if anyone found out. In hindsight, this may explain why she fell so quickly in love with someone who was having trouble figuring out who they were in a society that valued privacy. She wasn't by herself. Many other starlets of that time got married to men who couldn't be open about being gay, which was a similar situation. As Angela did, some of these women went into marriages full of hope, only to be left confused and sad. But Angela, unlike many others, chose kindness over anger. The first love story she had ended in sadness, but that wasn't the end of her love story. Angela finally found love that would last when she met Peter Shaw, an actress and producer. After getting married in 1949, they had a strong and stable relationship for 54 years until Peter's death in 2003. Angela often talked about how much they loved and cared for each other. They raised their family together and made a home based on love and understanding. Angela became the mom of his son David Shaw through his first marriage. Angela and Peter had 2 children together. Their names were Anthony Peter Shaw and Deirdre Angela Shaw. Angela was the first to say that it wasn't easy for her to balance her job and being a mom. Lots of jobs meant she had to leave her kids in California a lot of the time when she had to go to work somewhere else. In spite of this, she loved her family very much. Even though they weren't raised in a Christian home, she taught her kids strong morals and spiritual values. Her personal philosophy was based on kindness, faith, and strength. As she once said, we have to put our faith and trust in that. I believe that God is within all of us, that we are perfect, precious things. Angela would have to show how strong she was as a mother, though. In the 1960s, Lansbury lived in Los Angeles, and both of her teenage children started having problems with drugs. She was brave and honest when she talked about this. She was most upset when her daughter Deirdre joined Charles Manson's dangerous and infamous group. There was a time when Angela said, "It hurts me to say this, but Deirdre was with a group led by Charles Manson." Deirdre, like many teens during that troubled time, fell for Manson's seductive and evil charm. Angela, scared for her kids' futures, made a brave and life-saving decision. She and Peter Shaw moved their whole family to County Cork, Ireland, a peaceful rural area far from the chaos and dangers of Los Angeles. Angela bought a house there and turned down acting jobs for over a year so she could be with her family full-time and help them stay stable. The move worked. She later said, "I have no doubt we would have lost one or both of our 2 children if they hadn't been moved to a completely different place." Ireland was a peaceful, simple, and healthy place to live. Her kids got better in the end and went on to live healthy lives. Angela Lansbury's life was complicated and full of ups and downs, including broken hearts, long-lasting love, family problems, and victories. She stayed a figure of grace, power, and resilience through it all. She was always honest about her past and had a lot of kindness when she talked about other people, even those who had hurt her. We can forgive her for the mistakes she made. You can find love again, and most of the time, the most important parts we play are not on stage, but in the quiet, everyday things we do. In her younger years, Angela Lansbury had a problem with a behavior that a lot of people in the show business had at the time: smoking in groups. Like many artists who came of age in the middle of the 20th century, Lansbury started smoking at a young age. This may have been because of the cultural appeal of cigarettes in the theater and film worlds. Not only was smoking socially acceptable, it was even urged in some work settings. Lansbury's career was taking off in both Hollywood and on the stage. She may have used smokes as a personal comfort and a way to deal with the stress and long hours that came with her busy work schedule. But in the middle of the 1960s, Lansbury decided on purpose to stop smoking. She probably made this choice because she was becoming more aware of the health risks of smoking, and also wanted to protect her voice and overall health, especially as she took on more challenging and physically demanding parts. She was able to quit smoking after years of being addicted, which shows how disciplined she is and how much she cares about her health and work. Lansbury worked hard to stay healthy and was also aware of the changes that come with getting older, especially since she was always in the public eye. In 1976, when she was 51 years old, she chose to have surgery on her neck for ornamental reasons. The goal of the surgery was to tighten the skin and stop it from getting wider or sagging with age. That choice wasn't just based on vanity. It was also necessary for his career in an industry where looks are often very important in determining what parts an actor can get. People thought the surgery was pretty minor, but it worked, and it helped Lansbury look young and healthy during a very important time in her career. In 1987, more than a decade later, she had a second neck surgery to address changes that came with getting older with the same practical method she used for her health and career. These choices showed that Lansbury was willing to take action. She wasn't obsessed or uninterested in how she looked. Instead, she took careful, thoughtful steps to age naturally while staying competitive in a field that values looks. In the 1990s, Lansbury's body started to show the effects of a long career as an actress, especially on stage, where parts often required her to move, dance, and stand for long periods of time. She was in her 70s at the time. She started to feel the effects of arthritis, a common but painful disease that makes the joints stiff and painful. Lansbury kept performing even though she rarely talked about her arthritis problems in public. She often dealt with her physical limits with quiet dignity and strength. Her determination was especially clear when she kept working on stage during this time. It showed that even though her body was having trouble, her spirit and skill were still strong. Lansbury took another step to improve her quality of life and ability to move around in May 1994 when she had surgery to replace her hip. A prosthetic implant is put into the damaged hip joint during this process, which is usually done on older people with severe arthritis or joint degeneration. Lansbury was able to regain some flexibility and mobility after the surgery, which meant she could keep working and being active in public life. Even though the surgery was very dangerous, she recovered quickly and was back on stage and screen soon after. This shows how strong she is and how much she loves her job. In 2005, more than a decade later, Lansbury had another big surgery on his bones. That time, it was a knee surgery. Like the surgery she had on her hip before this one was very important for fixing the damage done by years of dancing and performing. It can take a long time and be hard to get better after knee replacement surgery, especially for people in their late 70s. But Lansbury once again went against what people thought would happen and came out of it with her usual grace and drive. Angela Lansbury died peacefully in Los Angeles, California, on October 11, 2022. She was 96 years old. Her death ended an amazing life and work that had been going on for almost 8 decades and had touched the hearts of millions of people from all walks of life. Lansbury's longevity in both her personal and professional life was partly due to her self-control, forethought, and unwavering moral strength. Even though she had health problems and had to deal with the normal problems that come with getting older, she kept her pride, her love of stories, and her deep appreciation for the performance arts. Fans, fellow actors, and admirers from all over the world were saddened by her death. They all knew how much of an impact she had on stage, screen, and the hearts of people who grew up watching her captivating acts.